5 FITPRO misconceptions.
Good morning. 5 big FITPRO misconceptions, and we want to know, first off, what big misconceptions have you heard in fitness, and are you guilty of the 5 we're about to talk about?
Or one of the 5. All you can do is drop a comment below. First of all, say good morning, because it is a lovely morning. And also then, as we go through these 5 misconceptions, let us know which one you might be guilty of.
Maybe you might be guilty of, or have you heard? That'd be interesting. Let's jump straight in.
I think we should.
Say good morning though. Do say good morning. Say hello. And in fact, get your phone very quickly. Make sure we are live in the right places. So I set it up a little bit differently this morning.
Right place.
Here we go.
I will check.
Say good morning. Say hello. And then we're going to jump into these 5 big misconceptions that FitPros have. I think we are live. People are joining us.
I think we're live. Good morning.
So here we go. It's just loading. It's just loading.
Loading.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, we are. Cool.
There we are.
So number 1 as a big FitPro misconception is this one. Ready? This is, I suppose, specific.
I think this one's shocking.
This one, no, nothing shocking. This one's like specific to parallel coaching, I think.
Yes.
But the muscle memory flashcards that we do at level 2, so level 2 muscle memory flashcards and level 3 muscle memory flashcards, believe it or not, are about the human body. Big misconception. They are nothing to do with dogs,
or
horses, veterinary. There's no learning to be had inside the muscle memory flashcards to do with animals or anything along those lines, to be honest. So
we've had lots of people that have had the misconception that the muscle memory flashcards are to do with horses or dogs.
Believe it or not, like genuinely, like that is. I think we get this once a month, maybe.
Yeah.
Once a month, maybe a little bit more than that.
Still, I think it's very clear. There's pictures of humans all over it.
And fitness. So fitness professionals, it talks about passing your level 2 anatomy exam for fitness. It talks about your level 3 anatomy exam for Pilates and yoga and all those types of things.
You see something for what you want to see it as, not necessarily what it is in front of you.
So if you are on here and you have bought the flashcards for your self in terms of being a vet or anything like that, then definitely get in touch. We need to chat. It's a big misconception. So that's number 1. It's a bit of a joke, but not joke as in like, ha, that didn't happen. That genuinely that does happen.
Yeah.
But it's a big misconception, isn't it? If you go to, in fact, at some point today, go to Parallel Coaching website. Okay, go to the muscle memory flashcards and just have a look. It'd be great for your feedback, just to see if we are barking up the wrong end of a tree.
Do we imply it's for animals?
Do we imply that the level 2 and 3 muscle memory flashcards are for cats, dogs, fish, horses, those types of things? I don't know. I just find it quite funny.
Maybe we missed the trick there. Maybe that's what we should bring up next.
Oddly,
dog anatomy.
A couple of people do turn around and said, I bought them because the reviews were so good. And we do have hundreds of reviews online for the flashcards. But actually, when I go down through the flashcard reviews, nowhere does it say vets. Anyway, moving on. Big misconception number 2
is that family boot camps can be run with any qualification.
Which is false. We're in tune today, aren't we?
We are.
If you want to do a family boot camp, then we got to look at different age groups here. So first off, some of the people are going to be adults. They're going to be like mums and dads or guardians and those types of things. So they're going to fit the age group of somewhere between 18 and, I don't know, 60 odd. And then, yes, you could have grandparents and great-grandparents as well, okay, which would then have different qualifications, because depending on that, you might need older adults or conditions because they refer a PARQ. But if you're going to have younger ones join below the age of 16 and it's going to be on a regular basis, then you do in fact need the kids qualification.
Which is the children's fitness qualification. It's a level 2, and actually you need that if you want to work with anyone under the age of 16. So if you want to do that regularly, if you want that in a group environment, in a one-to-one, you need to have that qualification, because training kids is actually very different to training adults. And all of the level 2 gym, level 3 PT, it's all adult based.
Yeah. I suppose if you do look at level 2 gym, fitness instructor and level 3 PT, you can train youngsters between 14, 15 and 16 year olds. but not on a consistent basis. So you could give guidance and advice to a 14-year-old, if you're a level 3 PT, of what they could do to get started on an ad hoc basis, but you can't train them on a consistent basis and bring them towards a particular goal. That's where you need your level 2.
And not just from a boot camp point of view, but also a lot of people use this for classes, which is the same in my opinion, for circuit sessions that you might be doing for one-to-one sessions, whereby the adults go, can I bring along my child with me? Or they're off school today, can they come along?
That could fall could fall into an ad hoc.
But not if they go below 14 years.
That's true.
So, in which case you still need to have the kids' qualification. Now, if you're then expanding that into different groups, you also need to be qualified to work with adults in a group environment.
Which would be circuits or a boot camp.
Group training. Yeah, exactly. So it's about making sure that you actually have the right qualification to do the thing that you really want to do. And often I hear on the phone people have really nice, inspiring stories of what they want to go and do, or what they are doing, but actually they don't necessarily have the qualification in place to be able to go
and it's not just about chasing a ticket. It's not just about, oh God, there we go again, they need another qualification. Inside the qualification, you learn how to be knowledgeable and confident, but also safe and effective, because each age group comes with its own specific conditions of things you can and can't do, of how you train the body in order to get an anatomical and physiological result based on who they are at that particular age.
Yeah.
Big misconception number 3. I think the first misconception is my favourite so far. But people buy the muscle memory flashcards for animals. Not for their animals, but for...
To learn about the anatomy of dogs and horses.
It's probably very similar, but it's nothing to do with animals, is it? It's about becoming a FITPRO. Big misconception number 3 is, I can't read your writing to be honest, Hayley. We wrote this down.
Personal trainers can't just work with anyone.
That's true. They can't just work with anybody.
So if you are a personal trainer and your client fails a PARQ or has medical conditions or takes medication, then they will basically refer a PARQ, in which case you cannot work with them unless you have a specific qualification.
I think that people misinterpret or don't see the PARQ or screening process with value and in priority. The PARQ is there to filter out people that you are qualified to work with, but the PARQ is there for you to gather as much data as possible to say, is this safe and effective? Can I truly work with this person? Do I have the knowledge and confidence and skill set to help this person in a safe and effective way?
And it's about risk stratification.
That's the word I was looking for.
At level 3 PT, you just learned PARQ, yes or no, basically. But then when you could dive into the long-term conditions course, this is where you learn about what you actually do with those conditions. The amount of feedback I get from learners, aka FITPROs, doing that course, and go, I never knew that all these different things could or could not be done with a client with different conditions. I never knew the risks associated to having high blood pressure and doing anaerobic exercise, for example. And they go, I didn't know the risk stratification of that. And it dives in deeper so you can actually understand what risk you're putting your client at.
What's number 4, just so I know?
Never use anatomy again.
Okay, cool. So I can talk about this one here. I couldn't read what number 4 was. But number 3, think about this. Somebody turns up and I think we downplay or don't truly understand the ramifications of somebody that, say, has asthma or a clinical condition that we're fully aware of and have been around since perhaps we've been at school.
Yeah.
And now we go, well, you've got asthma, yes, you can join in my boot camp. Yes, you can join in my one-to-one sessions, or yes, come into this class. But actually, they do refer a PARQ. And so actually, the PARQ process is there to draw attention and highlight things that the client has that we can't marry up to.
It's a very quick risk stratification. That means you don't need to know all the ins and outs because you're not qualified in understanding all the ins and outs. Mm-hmm. So actually, it's a very quick way of saying, can I work with you or not?
I think the biggest misconception on the PARQ, it comes to BMI, and there's going to be a lot of people message us throughout the day and go, BMI is a load of rubbish. Whether it is a load of rubbish or not, it's the valid indicator that FITPROs should be using or could be using alongside other indicators of poor health and obesity. And BMI 30 is the cutoff for a personal trainer. So you could work with anybody below BMI 30, but above BMI 30, that becomes a common clinical condition. And once somebody goes above BMI 30, the risk of developing or onset of other conditions such as type 2 diabetes or metabolic syndrome conditions, the list is endless, we won't go through them now, goes up. And so actually the understanding that this person, yes, they might only be BMI 30, 31, but they do pose a greater risk than somebody that's BMI 28, 29. And you might go, well, there's loads of different considerations that I could talk about here. They could be their height to weight ratio, that they could have a sporting background or
muscle mass.
And yes, that does come into it. However, there are rules.
And also, because obesity is a condition, I think if people look past BMI because they don't see obesity as a condition, they just see it as the weight of the person.
That's true.
And actually, it is a condition. It comes with considerations of things that you can and can't do with that condition, contraindicated exercises that mean that you can't do them at all with people with that condition. We should do a podcast just
on this one thing, I think.
Yeah, and I think it means that people end up planning and working with clients that they don't actually know the severity of working with them.
Yeah, it's not just a case of getting your BMI 35 man or lady in the park doing some exercise and trying to create a calorie deficit. If it were that simple, we wouldn't be in an obesity pandemic. Anyway, misconception number 4 is for FITPROs is you're never going to use anatomy again. This is like saying to a mechanic, you're going to learn everything about the car, everything about the engine, every nut, bolt, nook and cranny about this machine that goes from A to B. And once you're qualified, you're going to go and work in a reputable car garage, and you're never, ever, ever going to talk or speak about nuts, bolts, exhaust, steering wheels, brakes, discs, engines, oil ever again.
I can't list anything else.
I was running out quite quickly. But that's what it would be like. Because at the end of the day, as a FITPRO, you are a mechanic of a body. Somebody comes to you with a problem, okay, that they want to fix. They want to run faster. They want to get a PB in their marathon. They want to start running. They want to do a Tough Mudder. They want to lose some weight. They want to gain some weight. They want to go on stage. They want to go on holiday and be whatever their goal is. At the moment, they come to you with effectively a bit of a broken car. And then you're the mechanic that fixes the car and gets them from A to B. So anatomy, okay, is the study of all of the parts, and physiology is the study of the function of all of those parts together. And so the anatomy of the body, okay, is broken down in level 2 and level 3 into eight modules, and then the physiology wraps around that and says, well, how do all these parts function together? How does the muscles or the muscular system work with the skeletal system? How does the muscular skeletal system work with the neurological system? How does the muscular skeletal neurological system work with the energy systems? And so anybody that says you're never going to use anatomy again, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to sit on the fence and I'm going to have a big claim here. Probably won't last that long with clients in the industry. And that's a big, I suppose, quite negative claim. But at the end of the day, even if you want to go out and work with clients because you want to bring a community to them, you want to bring fun and for them to enjoy exercise, and that's the primary focus, which I think at the end of the day should be one of the primary focuses. But you still have to pull off a result. You can't just turn up to a circuit and get your goal. It's a set of acute training variables that bring about a specific stressor on the body that stresses the physiological systems, that in turn stresses the anatomical systems.
Gives an adaptation. Gets
an adaptation over time, and you end up fixed, for a better word. Not that anyone's broken, I'm just using the analogy of the mechanic. And so you must have an understanding of the anatomical systems wrapped around the physiological systems, so all of the parts, how do they work together, inside all of the planning variables of being a FITPRO, whether your discipline is exercise to music, yoga, Pilates, PT, group-based exercise, it doesn't matter. What are the training variables that stress those systems in order to get your clients from A to B and it still be fun?
Wicked. Every time I teach planning in the classroom, I always come back to anatomy, every single time. So it means that every plan that you create for your client, whether it's cardiovascular, whether it's resistance, whether you're deciding how many repetitions they do, how hard they go on their intensity on their cardio, whatever you're deciding as you're planning, you're actually using your knowledge of anatomy to influence the adaptation that you want to see, like you said, anatomy and physiology, adaptation, and then into results. And it's so important that you can see the link between them, else all you're doing from a planning point of view is randomly picking stuff.
And randomly picking stuff might not be enough for some people, it might be too much for others, and maybe by fluke or chance, 1 or 2 people in the group do get the appropriate overload in order to see some kind of anatomical physiological change. But wouldn't it be nice if we could have a fun community-based session that was the primary focus, but everybody that turned up actually hit the nail directly on the head and went bam.
I'm getting the result I wanted.
I'm getting the result I wanted. And the more you get results, the more raving fans you get. The more raving fans you get, the more you get referrals and more people come in and you build up your tribe.
Yes,
say good morning. We've got lots of people that have joined us and
a little
dropping
comment.
in.
Say good morning.
We're talking about misconceptions. Number 1 is still my favourite.
Should we do a quick run through before we hit number 5?
Misconception number 1 was people buy the parallel coaching muscle memory flashcards not for personal training, but
or
for
the human body,
but for their understanding of animals and
veterinary studies.
So yeah, we don't cover anything to do with dogs, fish, cats,
horses,
whales, dolphins.
Dogs and horses are the main ones we get for some reason.
Misconception number 2 today was you do need to be qualified in all the disciplines to run family boot camps. That might be level 2 kids, that will be a group-based training for your adults. Misconception number 3 is a PARQ, that you do need a PARQ and that they are incredibly important.
And that a PT can't work with someone who has a PARQ unless you're qualified as a long-term condition.
Number 4 is, I think I like this one actually.
I
was on this one. You're never going to use anatomy again, which is completely and utterly false. Anybody that says you're never going to use anatomy again in fitness, you're barking in. You go and do veterinary studies.
Love it.
But don't buy the flashcards.
Number 5.
Number 5
is that real learning comes once qualified.
Oh, I like this one. I think this is going to be my favourite.
Okay. When do you want to start?
So many influencers and people turn around and goes, well, actually, just go and get the qualification really quick. It doesn't matter yet. All the learning comes once you're qualified. And I have to agree, but disagree harshly on the same time. Your learning does improve massively once you're qualified. But I want you to consider one thing. If you didn't have the appropriate course that was fun, that brought a community, that packed you full of knowledge and confidence and practice, you would never start in the first place.
Because you wouldn't have the knowledge and you wouldn't have the confidence to be able to actually go, I'm going to go and work with that client and get the experience and get the understanding of where you're.
Yes, the experience does come, but you can't just go on the quickest course, get the ticket, because I guarantee I've seen this too many times. I've been teaching now inside fitness for 14 years, just over 14 years, and the amount of people I've helped from training providers that just get you through so quick, and they come back to us and they go, I still don't know what to do. I still don't get it. I don't feel confident. I'm not ready. And it's not that they're not qualified. It's the fact that they genuinely don't hold the confidence or the knowledge based on the qualification.
Another one we hear quite often is that from a level 2 gym point of view, which is foundational, and you've got to really know the physical skills of. We get a lot of people that do it via online, and then they don't have the confidence to then go and actually teach someone anything, not even a bodyweight squat, because they've never done that or practiced it. Whereas like Andy's on here, Andy's on our level 2 gym at the moment, and how many times did we practice doing a bodyweight squat just in the first part?
And you might think,
it's the coaching.
You might think, I can do a squat, I can teach a squat, but actually there's something very unique and odd and incredibly exciting and incredibly nerve-wracking. You go, well, I know how to use the gym. I've squatted for years and years and years. But standing in front of somebody and coaching them through it, being able to vary your tone of voice, pick out the right coaching cues, observing, correcting, introducing, giving teaching points. There's something very nerve-wracking and very exciting about that for the very first time. And you might be the seasoned bench lifter, but I guarantee when you come to actually coach, there's going to be this point of like, yeah, I do need more practice. And yes, the practice does come once you're qualified, but you have to have the right kickstart in fitness to get to that point, to go out there and actually do it.
And do it.
So anybody that says, go on the quickest course, just get an online one, get it done and dusted and go out and practice, really, again, is they might as well be doing veterinary studies with the people at the top of misconception number one, and buy muscle memory flashcards and go and teach dogs how to do squats. It sounds funny and stupid, but reality is that's my advice.
Yeah.
If you think that you can just do the quickest course in the world online and you're going to be the world's next best trainer and you don't need any of the skill set from people that have been there and done that, then please go and buy the muscle memory flashcards. In fact, I'll give them to you, providing you go and study dogs and veterinary studies.
That's also if they think they'll never use anatomy again, which is another one of our misconceptions.
It's true, isn't it?
There you go.
Oh, yeah, I take that back. You're not allowed to muscle memory flashcards.
So we've got a few of you with us this morning, so make sure you drop in a good morning, but let us know, have you had any of these misconceptions or heard of any of these or any others?
You're probably not guilty of them, because although they're a bit jokey and jovial in that respect, they are, all five of them are in fact very true.
Very real.
I don't know, which one was your favourite? Number one was buying flashcards to learn about veterinary studies, even though everywhere on our webpage talks about anatomy for personal trainers, yoga and Pilates. Number two
is about family boot camps and what qualifications you need.
Number three is the PARQ.
That's my favourite. Because it's the most common one that I hear is that a PT can work with anyone.
Which they can't. Number four is you're never going to use anatomy again once you're qualified, and that anatomy is just pointless. I think, I don't know. And then number five was the real learning comes after the qualification, and we said you have to consider that if the qualification is short and sweet and you don't gain any confidence or knowledge from that, then you never get started in the first place to get your confidence in the industry. So in fact, the kickstart of the qualification and the structure of that is incredibly important. I'm going to go with, I think the funniest one is that people buy the flashcards for veterinary studies. I can't get past that. Sorry, it's funny.
It's funny.
But my favourite one has to be, you're never going to use anatomy again.
Yeah.
I think.
Wicked.
Because
in everything
you do inside fitness.
Right. I like it. So drop in a comment, let us know what one of those five is the one that you I don't know, like most, find most interesting.
We've got loads of people on here. Garth's on here, say good morning. Kay saying good morning. Dave, Steve, we've got loads of people. If you're listening in, just drop us a thumbs up at very least, or say good morning.
Wicked.
Busy-ish day inside Parallel today. Have you got any lives today?
No, tomorrow.
Okay, so there's no live training, but this morning, lots of marking for the level 3 exercise referral course.
And some PT marking too.
And then lots of support. We did an accountability session live last night inside one of the groups, and there's going to be lots of support going on this morning to back that up. But we will be out of the office between 1 onwards today, but that doesn't mean you can't get hold of us. It just means that we're not actually sitting at this table.
You could just leave us a message and I'll phone you back.
Completely. The likelihood is we'd still pick up, but we won't actually be in the office, we'll be surfing. So if you do want to get hold of us, the fastest and easiest way is to get hold of us this morning. You can call us on student support, you could message us on social media, and if you do need us this afternoon, we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Wicked, we've got lots of people saying good morning. Morning Neil, Garth, Mark, Kasha, Andy, wicked.
I like it. Misconceptions today. I would say, this is how I'm going to wrap it up. Being a FITPRO or being self-employed can be quite lonely. And so we genuinely, one of the things I've seen is we find ourselves on social media or following influencers quite a bit. And various influencers will have you believe misconceptions because that's their own thoughts, feelings and opinions. Now everybody's allowed their own thoughts, feelings and opinions, but make sure you back up your own opinions of the industry that actually help our industry move forwards. If everybody says you don't need anatomy in this industry, okay, then lo and behold, we're not doing our clients any long-term favours. So think about the things that we might be influenced by, and do they genuinely sit hand in heart, sit well with you and your values in order to move forwards in the industry and also to better the industry.
So like a values check when people say these things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, completely. Like if we always turned around and said, just do the fastest course possible. In fact, don't turn up to any parallel coaching course. We can do it all online. And everybody started doing that. Then suddenly the industry as a whole would have less confident people from the outset, and we would never get into the industry in the first place. So that was misconception number 5. So let's really think about like who we're being influenced by. Are we bettering the industry, and does it sit with our values
I like that.
at heart?
I like that.
There we go.
So we're getting some comments in about what people say their favourite ones. Kay said number 5. I did my level. Which level? Number 5 was real learning comes once qualified.
Yeah. So number 5.
She says I did my level 2 through COVID and have a lack of confidence. Where if I'd done a face-to-face one, I'm sure I'd feel better about myself and coaching.
There's nothing wrong with online because we have online learning as well on some of our qualifications.
I think it's tricky at level 2 though.
But at level 2 and level 3, there's nothing, in my opinion, better than being face to face and understanding some fundamental principles of coaching and learning in a safe place, learning where you can effectively mess it up and practice on time that doesn't actually impact you or your client. But what face-to-face does do, how it impacts you, is you get feedback from every other person in the room, and you get feedback from coaches who are teaching it.
So it'll progress you. Andy's comment.
Andy, I thought
so
was number 1. So number 1, misconception number 1 was all about the muscle memory flashcards for vets. I thought I was going to be a vet, but I'm too far down the line on my level 2 gym now. Brilliant. Yeah, Andy, we didn't cover anything to do with fishies and fishies.
But we'll do dog anatomy next weekend.
Crazy.
Amazing.
Yeah, so one person, no joke, actually said, I read through your reviews and that's why I bought your muscle memory flashcards and I'm learning to become a vet. And I'm like, well, if I go through best part of, we've got hundreds of reviews for the flashcards. If I go through those, not one talks about animals, not one talks about veterinary studies. And yet they then turn around and go, well, I thought, where's the dog section? Like,
funny, isn't it? Garth says, definitely couldn't have started without the face-to-face practice in level 2 and 3, and then we get to see you again soon.
Completely, and this is a great point, isn't it? Because Garth has got a great background in movement, calisthenics, martial arts, and training. So comfortably, you could say, well, I know how to do all of these things, but actually being in a face-to-face and understanding what to do, when to do it, planning, wrapped in with anatomy, wrapped in with physiology, wrapped in with coaching. Garth's now active in the industry and has got clients and he's building up his client base. But the real learning, I get it. You carry on, you wrap it up.
Okay. The real learning comes from being part way through what you're doing in terms of the practice, the learning, the confidence happens in the classroom. Then you build that bit up when you start then working with people. So yes, I agree, Garth. It's a starting platform to allow you to go and get started. And without that, you wouldn't have had the confidence to get started in the first place. We better wrap it up. Isn't that ding dong?
The ding dong is here. Sounds a bit weird, doesn't it?
The doorbell rang.
Doorbell rang. We do need to disappear. Builders have just turned up. We are developing in the world of team parallel and building. And so the builders have just turned up. So
I'll get the kettle on.
There we go. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I have. I still can't get past number 1. Big misconception. Vets and muscle memory flashcards. Right, guys.
There we go. We'll see you
on the flip side, probably tomorrow morning.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.